Hi, it's James Saracen. I'm here to actually do something I hate doing, but I got a request to do this. So I took a cymbal that I know is dirty. First off, let me just set this aside for 1 second. This is a Sabian AAX 19-inch explosion crash. I used to have a 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. And I used to play in a house band in Hannah's in Boise, and it was a pretty loud gig and everything. And in that gig, I had moved up to the explosion crashes, and then eventually settled on just using like 3 of them, and then some sound effects. And I had settled on going with the 17, the 18, 19, and the 20, the larger crashes. After I left that gig, and I moved, I decided to sell off some of those. So I sold the 18 and the 20-inch because I didn't think I'd use them again, and I kept the 17. I think I still have the 16, 17, and 19, and I haven't used them forever. So these have been probably not honestly used since probably 2015 maybe, and put away. And I pulled it out, and so it's oxidized a little bit. It's got that gold tint to it, and instead of that super shine, there's a couple of little spots of green starting to happen there, probably sweat, who knows, and everything. And so I thought I would talk about, I had mentioned using, I got a towel over my lap here. I've got some gloves on. You don't need the gloves for this, but I just thought I'd do it anyway. I'm going to demonstrate this kick and brass because I said you don't need to be near a sink. You wipe it on, you wipe it off. So let me read this. It says kick and brass cymbal cleaner. Clean cymbals in seconds. No rinsing, no rubbing. And then it says logo friendly. And it has the directions and all that kind of stuff. And cleaning tips: always use very clean cloth for drying. Spray on the directions. Spray on surface and let's set for 15 to 30 seconds while still wet with a terry cloth, blah, blah, blah. What I typically used to use is I go to like a Dollar Tree or something. I get these little makeup pads, like they're made of like cotton, called cotton rounds. There's 80 of them in a pack. You're going to go through a lot of them, but you can just toss them. You don't have to, have a cymbal related towel or whatever. So I'm going to have these handy. And I'm just going to, this is not exciting, but I'm going to shake this up, and I'm going to give you a quick idea of how I deal with a cymbal like this. So I spray this around and let it absorb. What I do is I just kind of watch. If I feel like it's going to start to run over the edge, then I'll start to rub it. And again, I'm not... most of the time I'm using this, I don't even use gloves. But I can actually see it. I don't know if you'll see it on there, taking shape. So I take this. I didn't spray it on the bell. The bell is an unfinished thing. I'll just go ahead and wipe across there. But what I'm going to do is just take this cotton pad, like a cotton ball. And like I said, I kind of look at this more like a light cleaner and a polish than I do a something that's going to cut through things. So just doing that pretty lightly, I've gotten that. And then I see there's this little spot here, so I'm going to put a little bit of elbow grease on that oxidation and green, if you want to call it that, spot. Okay, and so that's already gotten that much. I'm going to fold it, and I'm going to go a little bit more on some of the outer stuff. And you can start to see where the cleanser sat, that it will have a different looking clean spot because it sat there and it removed some of the oxidation versus, I could see spots where that cleaner, where I sprayed it. So, all right, now this is... it's definitely making a difference, but it's getting, you can see how green that is. It's getting a little bit, what I call wet, too wet to do anything with it. Okay, and I'm going to go around again with just a dry one, and I can see it really starting to polish up right here. So, you know, like in some of the other videos, I kind of demonstrated it for a sec and then turned it off and cleaned the cymbal because I just don't think it's fun to watch that kind of stuff. But the biggest thing is just getting, I mean, just doing that, you can see that I haven't even resprayed it yet. But I'll go ahead and go around a little bit more, and I'm going to try to do a little bit of the edges. So what I'm on is I'm on a drum throne with a towel over the top, and I'm trying to. Now I can tell out here, it's definitely pretty dry, and I'm getting a lot of that gunk. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and spray lightly just around the edges, and I'm not going to really let it sit very long because I want to get this spread out before it starts to evaporate anyway. Okay, and I try to go around. This is a brilliant type cymbal, so really, like I said, what I'm trying to do is get rid of some of the oxidation and some of the fingerprints and stuff like that. So obviously you can tell this part of the cymbal is always cleaner because we don't grab that part. And then again, you can see how that is. I will fold it a little bit, keep using it. So I try to get as much as I can out of these little wipes. These I call them makeup wipes, but they're just, you know, cotton. It's kind of like a flattened out cotton ball, but it's got a weave to it to give it some strength. Okay, so again, you can see how dirty that gets. So it is removing like a little bit of oxidation and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give it one more go around, all the way around the cymbal. And I'm not using a lot of cleaner. I could be much more open about it, but I'm not. And then I'm going to go around one more time pretty quickly and really focus more on the edges, I guess I'd say. And again, I can see where I sprayed it, but again, I mean, still, I'm getting that much off. We'll turn it over. We'll go around. Keep getting a bigger and bigger circle. And I can start to see, like, as soon as it dries, I start to see swipe marks and stuff like that. And maybe you can see that on the camera and stuff like that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to grab kind of a junky towel. And usually what I do is I grab the cymbal with one edge of the towel, and then I'll take the rest of it and I'll make it big enough to go around. And this is not a microfiber towel or anything, it's just an old terry cloth towel. And I'm wearing gloves, but like I said, normally the reason I grabbed that towel and put it around the edge of the cymbal is to keep from applying any kind of nasty fingerprint to it. And so now I'm just going to kind of fold the towel and go around. Okay, so now just doing that, I can see some areas where I see some major fingerprints that I didn't get rid of. And that's why I kind of call this more of a almost like a cymbal polish than I do a cymbal cleaner. I'm going to kind of hit a couple of areas there and try to get some of this color to match a little better. But if you don't let your cymbals get really bad, I feel like this works really well, and you can see it's not doing anything to the logos. So it is definitely logo friendly, as they say on the packaging. And again, I kind of call it more of a cymbal polish because I feel like it does remove the oxidation. It does remove just a few what I call topical type fingerprints versus something that's been on there for a long time and absorbed a lot of the oils from your hands and stuff have absorbed a lot of dirt and grime, and then over time the oxidation from that has also attached itself to the moisture and created something that turns green. So there's kind of a quick thing. The Cymbal's definitely shinier. There's some spots that it needs work on, but it's no fun to watch me do it. And again, so there's the back of the Cymbal. You can see all the fingerprints where I either grabbed it, choked it, or whatever. And so that being said, this is the type of stuff that will work well on doing this type of stuff, cleaning, versus a major deep cleaning. And if I do that, then I go to this. You do need to be at a sink. And again, I reiterate, Barkeeper's Friend, that is like Comet, the powder, I don't use it. I've used it in the past, but not on brilliant cymbals. And it typically is strong enough that it will remove logos and stuff like that. Most logos are just soy ink. They're going to come off eventually anyway. But typically Barkeeper's Friend doesn't really remove that. And if you're just in the sink, you wet the cymbal, put this on a sponge, or you can put it directly on the cymbal. I usually put it on a sponge, go all the way around. If they have anything that's bad, try to stay in the grooves, wipe, and then spray it off, rinse it off, dry it, and it has a little bit more power to it to actually deep clean and get rid of some of the things that maybe this wouldn't do. So, but that gives you an idea of the fingerprints there. I haven't cleaned the bottom, so there's a little bit of the top, just using the kick and breast for those who wondered what it's like. Now you know.